You book your dream vacation in the Caribbean. White sand, clear blue water. But when you arrive, the shoreline is buried in rotting seaweed, and the smell hits you as soon as you see it. And now, tourists are filming it, posting it online, and spreading it across social media. But what you're seeing in those videos is just scratching the surface of a much bigger ocean problem. This is Ocean Decoded, where we break down what's really happening in the ocean and why it matters to you. Sargassum is a type of floating seaweed. Out in the open ocean, it's actually a good thing. It's a habitat for fish, turtles, and other marine life. But something has changed. Since around 2011, massive blooms have formed across the Atlantic, creating what scientists have called the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt. This belt of seaweed stretches thousands of kilometers and sends huge amounts of seaweed towards the Caribbean every year. And recently, it's gotten worse. In 2025, scientists recorded over 37 million tons of sargassum, one of the largest blooms we have ever observed. In the open ocean, sargassum is harmless. But when it washes ashore, everything changes. It piles up, it rots, and it releases hydrogen sulfide gas, which smells like rotten eggs and can irritate your lungs and eyes. It also reduces oxygen in coastal waters, harming marine life. It blocks sunlight, damaging seagrass and coral reef ecosystems, and can carry harmful bacteria like Vibrio. In extreme cases, beaches become unusable. And that's where the human story starts. Tourists are showing up expecting paradise. Instead, they're getting this. So these days, they pull out their phones and they film it. Videos show beaches completely covered in seaweed, resorts scrambling to keep it up, and tourists reacting in real time. And those videos spread fast because they break expectations. This isn't the Caribbean people think they know, what they used to see on magazine covers and on websites where you see the white sand, the clear blue water, maybe the palm tree on the side. No, it's not the same thing. And the impact is real. Some beaches are empty some days, and some tourists leave early from their dream trip. Tourism-dependent economies take a huge hit. In some areas, business losses and major disruptions have already been reported for this year. There's no single cause. It's a combination of factors, as we've seen before in other episodes of Ocean Decoded and my podcast, How to Protect the Ocean. So there's a few contributors. There's nutrient pollution that comes from fertilizers that run from the Amazon River and that feed algae growth. And those come from farms and such things. There's climate change as a contributor, which warmer water helps the sargassum grow faster. And there's also ocean circulation changes. So currents are now pushing more seaweed into the Caribbean. And of course, finally, there are atmospheric and ocean mixing changes. These bring nutrients from deep waters to the surface, fueling algal blooms. The result? A system that now produces massive blooms every year. So take places like Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. In 2025, some coastlines were completely overwhelmed. In certain areas, beaches were unusable. Cleanup costs skyrocketed, and tourism dropped significantly. Governments and resorts now spend millions of dollars trying to remove the seaweed in real time. And even that isn't enough to do it. I mean, I've been to these beaches when they're covered in sargassum. Now, for me, it's kind of interesting to see all this sargassum come to play. But everybody else is just grossed out. It stinks. It's kind of weird on your feet. I mean, algae's always weird on people's feet, and people don't like it in the water just when it's sparsed out in regular water. But when these mats come to the surface, they are in layers. You can actually cover a person in it. It's that deep. It goes up. I remember being in it, and it goes up to my knees. And it's really hard to get past that, to get into the water, because the water is filled with this incoming sargassum. It's really difficult to get to clear water, and nobody really wants to go in that way because people just don't want to go in it. So when government and resorts spend millions of dollars trying to remove the seaweed, that's not always enough because the seaweed just continues to come to shore. There are efforts underway to clear them out. Some include floating barriers to stop sargassum before it hits the shore. Others have early warning systems using satellites, and then there's turning sargassum into products like fertilizer or even biofuel. But here's the problem. The scale is massive, and all the blooms are unpredictable. It's not as if they come in on the coastline every year at the same time of year. Sometimes they come in, sometimes they don't. Even within the same week, sometimes you'll get a huge mass of sargassum, and if it gets cleaned up quickly, the next day it may not be there, or there might be more coming. This isn't something you can clean up once and it's fixed. This is something that can happen over and over. It's an ongoing system level issue. And this isn't just about ruining people's vacations. It's about coastal ecosystems, fisheries, public health, and local economies. Sargassum is a visible symptom of a bigger issue, how human activity is reshaping ocean systems. And the reason this story is spreading so fast, because tourists are now documenting in real time. You'll see it on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. People see it and they're distraught by the fact that they paid so much money to go on these vacations that they're just not getting what they wanted. They're turning an environmental crisis into a global conversation. And that's a good thing. Now, sometimes people are kind of a little ignorant of the fact that, hey, it's not just the vacation that is ruined, but it's also a coastal ecosystem that's being distraught. It's in distress. And not only are the local humans being affected because of lack of tourism that eventually is going to happen and the dollars that are going to leave that area. And of course, if you think about how these resorts were built and they destroyed all these mangrove areas and all these other places that were there before, now people aren't coming to the resorts because of seaweed, and now there's nothing to really fight it, or there's nothing really to keep that coastal ecosystem going or that coastline going, because all the natural barriers to erosion and everything like that are gone because of these resorts. So it's kind of like a negative feedback right now. So the next time you see a video of a beach covered in seaweed, don't just think of a ruined vacation. See a changing ocean. If you want to understand what's happening in the ocean and how it affects your daily life, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Ocean Decoded. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about sargassum again and what efforts are there to reduce the amounts of sargassum that come on the beach and how they get rid of them. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining me on today's Ocean Decoded. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time, and happy conservation.